Hello and welcome back to Necromancer, and we're here on the diplomacy screen. Now, I'm here for a very specific reason. I'm actually contemplating making peace by paying some kind of tribute to one of these factions, because while my faction is actually doing okay, I use the word okay, or shall we say the term okay, in a somewhat loose fashion, because let's face it, we're doing fine because we have expanded our territory, but why have we expanded our territory? How have we been able to do that? I think that's probably due to the fact that we have been so instrumental in these opportunistic attacks against the opponent. And I don't want to say this is all thanks to me, because let's face it, I think that probably any relatively strong vassal could have done this. But in these kinds of situations, I kind of think, okay, it probably is something down to myself, you know, it's a little bit down to me, you know, doing these kinds of, opportunistic sieges, as I said, and it really makes a huge difference. And I think that, I don't know, I think it might make sense for us to make peace, because if we decide to make peace with one of these guys, we're going to be paying a relatively small amount of money, and we're going to have a lot more control over the area, and that's obviously one of the main things that you kind of want to consider, because control is not really one of those things that is, shall we say, palpable. It's not really quantifiable in any strict sense, but control over a territory or over a particular portion of land or whatever is actually very important in gaining territory in the first place, because if you don't have the control, if you don't have, the vassal populace under control in some way or another, if you're not able to eliminate them and they're able to build up their forces consistently over time, bad things are going to happen eventually. In other words, your armies are going to get themselves murdered. Or at least, that is obviously not what you want, but some of the time that can happen. Anyway, we're going to tell my forces just to go and auto-delegate. Hopefully I'm not going to get shot in the face by any of these wonderful archers. And that was the main reason why I was actually thinking, maybe I should make peace, maybe I should make peace and see what we can do after that. Anyway, what I'm actually going to try to do here, do a little bit of sneaky action. There we go. A little bit of sneaky action. Apparently is doing some nice damage. Not as much as I wanted, but it's going to have to be enough, because I really don't want to die here. Just able to, not really limp away, because I am on a horse, but kind of limp away. And maybe I can do a little bit of damage with my Withering Wave here as well. Or I'll do no damage, apparently. No, I did absolutely 0 damage with my Withering Wave cast. That is hilarious. What did the ranged units of the enemy move forward ever so slightly and they avoided the initial attack? That might very well be the case. Just gonna go along the line there. Nice damage. Oh yeah, that is what I'm talking about. We got to 300 athletics too. I'm actually going to tell every one of my forces to charge in now. Hopefully I'm not going to get killed in the process. I'm actually going to not use any additional mana, because I'd like to wait another 20 seconds and hopefully use another wave of death. But we're going to see if I can maybe get a couple of polearm kills. This guy is just standing there. Look at that. Oh, he died so incredibly easily. He was basically a sitting duck. He was a sitting duck, and we were right there, and he was ripe for the picking, and that is exactly what we did. We bonked him on the head, and now he is no longer with us. Yes, indeed. Anyway, there we go. We were able to achieve victory, and hopefully that is then going to, hopefully pave the way for our invasion into this town nearby. Because that's the main reason, you see. Control over enemy vassals equals freedom to actually take towns and various other fiefs and things like that. Obviously, I'm not going to be ransoming these guys or anything like that, because ransoming them is, of course, counterintuitive, but I'm just going to keep them in my prisoner's hold as much as I possibly can. We're going to be taking all of the rescued prisoners here as well, because, well, we can make additional parties, hopefully. Let's take all of the armor. Yeah, all of the armor, like so. And then we'll just donate the rest. Another 12,000 experience to be shared among our forces is not actually that much, but it's decent. It's okay. And let's see what I can do about the parties. Okay, so I have, this guy could definitely use some more, so I'm gonna see if I can speak to him at the moment. Hello there, sir. There we go. Thankfully, we do have telepathy. If we did not have telepathy, this would be very, very inefficient. But now here's the thing. I'm putting the use of telepathy down to some kind of magic, because obviously I don't usually use telepathy that often. The only time I'm going to use it is if there's some kind of situation with the person I want to speak to. In other words, if he has gotten himself killed and I'm waiting for him to regenerate, then obviously I don't really want to wait. I don't want to wait that time. So generally, I will use telepathy just to skip ahead, skip ahead in the queue, so to speak, and I don't have to wait for my messenger to arrive to greet a fully healthy vassal. So that's the only time I will use telepathy otherwise, but I'm putting it down to some kind of magic at this point, because if I can speak to this guy and I can transfer my troops to him, then it just kind of makes things a little bit smoother. And this is obviously for the sake of the series. You got to remember, this is for a series. It's not in my own private time or anything like that. And let's face it, if you want to use telepathy, I would highly recommend it. It's one of the greatest mods you can get, because it just improves your quality of life in the game by a significant amount. Anyway, let me see what I can do here. We do have a number of people from the Illumination cult, or what are they actually called? What are they actually called? No. They are actually Braganza's Besiegers. Never mind. Not the Illumination cult. They are there. Yes, there is actually someone from the cult of Illumination right there as well, which is rather amusing. But there's the guy, actually. Never mind. I didn't even really need to use telepathy here, because he's right by the side of us here. Oh, okay. Well, that kind of makes sense then, I suppose. And we're otherwise going to be going into a battle against this fellow. And I'm a little bit worried about going in against this guy, but he doesn't seem to have too many Braganza Besiegers. Those are the ones that are going to instill a little bit of fear in me every single time I see a considerable number of them. They are quite fearsome when in great numbers. Anyway, I'm going to be speccing another focus point into engineering, and then we're going to hopefully catch up to this guy and do some massive damage to him. How much magic? Oh, I only have 55 magic. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to have to wait a little bit of time, but I do not want this guy to get refuge in the town. So I'm going to run a little bit of interference in between us here. We're gaining magic back pretty nicely, but obviously we want as much as we can possibly get. 95? I'll deal with 95. Okay, 95 is pretty decent. Let's do this. Okay, so this guy's going to be a little bit more difficult than the previous fellow, and I'm hopeful that I will not be as useless as I was before with my Withering Death. Hopefully Withering Death is going to do a little bit more damage this time. As opposed to 0, that is, because obviously it did very little before. Anyway, Wind of Death. Let's do this. Boom. Yep. Now that's some nice damage. That was some very, very nice damage, I gotta say. I like that. Okay, that seems to have done a pretty nice number on them. And maybe we can get a nice Withering Wave cast off as well. Let's do that right there. I'm probably going to kill some of my own troops. Ooh, I did eliminate a Blood Knight. Hopefully I didn't kill the Blood Knight. I don't think I did. I think I just knocked it unconscious. I think. Don't quote me on that. Let's hope that I just knocked it unconscious, because I really do not want to kill any of those Blood Knights by mistake. They are pretty hard to come by for me. And otherwise, I think that's pretty much it. That was, yeah, I feel like now that I have revamped my army composition, I feel like we have a very strong force. And I don't think many enemy forces can actually deal with us right now. So I'm very, very pleased with this. Hopefully we're going to be able to get more of this as we go forward. I mean, here's the thing. I now have so many prisoners and so many rescued prisoners. We're going to have a little bit of a problem here. I'm going to take all the armor, and we'll donate the weapons once again. Now, let me see. Another 14 units to level up. There we go. And now, we need to give these troops away, don't we? We need to give these troops away to someone. What about this fellow? I mean, both of these guys are literally losing units like no one's business. I have no idea why they are losing units. They are in the same location, so that kind of makes me think that maybe they are in a battle right now. No, they're not. Okay, because apparently, I mean, I wouldn't be able to talk to him if he was in a battle, so this is kind of interesting to me. Not entirely sure what he's doing then. And we're going to be transferring a couple of prisoners over to him as well. Actually, I wanted to only transfer 50, but apparently that's not available. So I'm going to have to just do this the old-fashioned way. Something like this, I guess. There we go, 48 of them. And otherwise, we're just going to be giving him a whole bunch of skeletons, roaming undead, and so on. Just to give him a significant numbers advantage against anyone that wants to attack. That's pretty much all that we can really do. Because if I decided to not do this, and if I decided to, you know, just leave him with whatever, then he's going to be okay, but I'd very much appreciate it if he could hold his own. But saying that, me giving him a bunch of skeletons is probably not going to allow him to hold his own anyway, in the best of times. He's going to just die, because skeletons are, quite frankly, really, really bad, but of course that is exactly their purpose. They are supposed to, you know, be fodder in many respects. Anyway, I think I need to get rid of some more, don't I? A couple more, but I would like to actually... Let's speak to Casimir, actually. I think that would probably be a good idea. Let's speak to Casimir, because if we speak to him, I will be able to transfer a couple of prisoners over to him as well. And that's exactly why I'm doing this at the moment, because we're going to gain some additional money from this as well. Because obviously, if you know this, well, your parties can actually sell your prisoners for you. Whenever they go to a town, they can offload their prisoners, and that's exactly what I'm hopeful that they'll actually do. And in the meantime, whenever I speak to some of these guys, I'm going to be taking their vampire new bloods as well, just so that I can level them up and hopefully make my own army relatively strong too in the process. Okay, so unfortunately we weren't able to take... Okay, why is Peter having such a hard time here? He's running away from Philibert's army. I'm not entirely sure why that is the case. Let me have a look here. Okay, wait a minute. How many units does he... Oh, he has 600. Oh, okay, that's a little bit too much, in my opinion. I don't think I'm going to be... Oh, Selena. Selena is there. I wonder whether Camilla is there. If Camilla is there, then I'm definitely not going in. Because... I'm a little bit scared of her, to be honest, because she baited us so incredibly easily into that previous fight, and I would like to try and avoid such a mastermind tactician, if at all possible. Yeah, so my forces are going to get eliminated here, unfortunately. Can't really do much about that. I mean, I could go in, but personally... They were 160 against more than 750 or something like that. Highly unlikely we would have been able to do anything there. Anyway, what we're also going to do now is, well, what can we do, actually? I have 98 loyalty in this particular town. Let's actually get my granary up and running. That's going to take another 8 days. And that's going to increase my food reserve limit by a pretty significant amount. And otherwise, what we should do is probably workshops. And then I think we'll probably leave it at that, and then just allow the loyalty to recover, because it is going to take a little bit of time for that to actually happen. And, oh yeah, I should actually mention this. Thank you to the person from the modding team, by the way, because you told me that there aren't any Necromancer's gloves in the game at the moment. So I should probably get some Wizards ones or something along those lines. So that's exactly what I'm going to do now. I'm actually going to take a look and see if I can find some. And if I can't, then I'm just going to try and get some that are relatively decent protection-wise. Something along those lines, maybe. Can I get light wizard stuff? Oh no, that's fire resistance. I was actually hoping that I might be able to get something a little bit better than the necromancy headpiece, because you can see here that while it does provide me with some very good damage amplification, its actual protection against melee attacks is awful. Or shall we say physical attacks. So yeah, that is not so great. Bright Wizard, unfortunately I can't do that because that is fire damage. What about Light Wizard? Aha! Yes, we found some. Okay. Amazing. Okay, very good. We found some. So that means I will now be able to equip these. No more hook hand. No more hook hand. And now we are looking maybe even more ridiculous. I'm not entirely sure. Do you think I look more ridiculous or less ridiculous? I don't really know. Anyway, let's just sell all of that. That's another 36,000 for us. I'm actually wondering whether I should replace my... that's actually kind of the reason why I was looking for a helmet, because I was actually thinking that maybe it would make sense for me to just go all the way with the light wizard look. Because if I don't, I mean, it looks out of place, you know what I mean? It looks a little bit out of place for me to look a little bit more like a necromancer on the top half than I do on the bottom half, So that's kind of what I was thinking at the moment, but does it matter? I don't think it really does, to be honest, but I was thinking maybe I would try. Doesn't seem like there's anything. Oh, Celestial Wizard Hat? No, that's lightning damage, isn't it? Light Wizard Hat. There's a Light Wizard Hat. That is the thing that we need. That makes me... yeah, that makes me look very, very silly indeed. Because we have a skull-adorned staff on our backs. And we have what can only be regarded as some kind of creature's teeth or claws with skin around our, I don't know, what can you call that? Plumage? I don't know. I mean, they're shoulders, obviously, but yeah, I'm not entirely sure what you can call those. But I could technically get light wizard shoulders as well, which I think, yep, that is actually the same exact thing. Should I go full out? I mean, this might be funny, so... Oh, that looks... I mean, okay, so now here's the thing. I'm not saying this looks bad, by the way. I'm saying this looks absolutely fantastic if that's the kind of character you're playing, of course. But as a necromancer, we look, well, not like that. So it might make sense for me to not keep this look for very long, but I think it actually looks quite amusing. So that's the only reason why I'm keeping it at the moment. So let me actually just sell all of these guys, apart from the vassals, of course. There we go. Only 700 gold? Really? Wow, that was... that's a very small amount of money right there. And look at that, Camilla is taking people prisoner once again. She's just all over the place. She's doing an absolutely fantastic job. Anyway, let me see if I can find where that army is. Do you think I can take this? I think I can take this very, very quickly. Or I should be able to take this very quickly. Now I'm actually kind of worried. I'm thinking to myself, are there any building ballistas? There are any building ballistas. Okay, this should be absolutely fine. So let's just go for the standard sort of siege style, where we just go for some siege equipment, and then we try to get over the walls with that siege equipment. Seems like we have converted some more culture. Okay, that's pretty good. Yeah, they're using the same sound at the moment for peace as they do for the culture conversion, so it kind of confuses me a little bit sometimes. So that's the reason why I think to myself, oh, peace was made? No, it's not peace, it's just some culture being converted. I'm going to pay the ransom for Sifrid to be released, and we're going to be making our way in here. Thankfully, these are just ballistas, so they're not really going to do too... no, I'm not going to say it. Okay, I'm not going to say it. I was going to say they're not really going to do too much, but don't tell the game that I just said that, because they're going to headshot me instantly with a ballista bolt right through my face. What do you bet? What do you bet that they're actually going to do that? I wouldn't be surprised. Yes, I wouldn't be surprised. Let me get out my shield. Like that's going to make any difference, right? Let me see where are the ladders, actually. Oh, no, we don't have any ladders. Oh, yeah, I shouldn't have actually built two of those, to be honest. Shouldn't have built two siege towers. That was a bit of a judgment error on my part, but oh well, never mind. Let me just summon a couple of skeletons here. Just to offer a little bit of a, you know, a little bit of a distraction. Summon some more of these guys. I don't really want to get shot. I really shouldn't even be here, to be honest. Me standing right here, right now, really bad idea. But I'm just going to stand here and just summon undead. That's it. Just going to summon undead as much as I possibly can. I could theoretically cast spells through the gate, but we've seen that that doesn't really do that much unless we are 100% certain there are a lot of units on the other side. It's a bit touch and go, you know. It's one of those things where you can kind of think, well, maybe it's going to do something, maybe it's not going to do something. I don't really want to be in a situation and guess. Oh, hello there. Just got shot really badly. Okay, I've got my shield out. I'm gonna... yeah, this is taking way too long to get here, actually. Oh, there is someone using a firearm on the second level there as well. That's a bit scary. I wonder whether the firearms can actually penetrate through shields, because in one of the warband mods, I believe the guns could actually go through shields, or at the very least partially penetrate shields, because they are just that powerful. So I'm kind of a bit worried that they do that here too, but we'll see. Battering ram seems in good health. And how's the siege tower doing? Siege tower is perfectly fine. Yeah, that's exactly the reason why I said let's do this way, because we're not going to have enemy catapults. Because if you have enemy catapults, it's going to be so easy for the enemy to destroy your own siege equipment. I'm losing so many units right now. How many people do I actually have? I really don't have a huge amount. I'm losing a lot of... Wow, I'm actually losing a lot of von Karstein vampires here, which is really bad. That is not good. Okay. This might be problematic. Oh, hello there. That's a lot. Go, 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 go! What are they doing? Charge! Charge, guys. I told them to charge, but they're not doing it. Okay. With withering, should I do it? Withering wave. There we go. I'm just gonna do it. Oh, I killed a huge amount, but I died instantly. As you might expect, that is gonna happen, but I'm not entirely sure what's happening. Look at these guys. Yeah. They're all stuck? Okay, they're all stuck. I don't know. I actually have no idea what is even happening at this point, so I am going to have to leave it. They all bugged out in some way or another. I mean, you could see that, right? It wasn't me just randomly thinking that something was happening when it wasn't, right? Yeah, I don't know. I didn't do anything wrong, did I? Now I'm second guessing myself all over the place, but I don't think so. Because that has happened before, and generally I didn't... I mean, I basically saw them do that when they were on their automatic delegation, and then I thought, okay, I'm going to tell them to charge in. Maybe that's going to fix the issue. But it did not do anything. So that is very, very disappointing indeed, because now I've just gone in there, wasted a huge amount of manpower, well, shall we say vamp power, and yeah... We're now in a situation where we've lost a lot of combat strength. But whatever the case, we are now in a battle against Camilla herself. If we can eliminate her, then we will have shall we say, a little bit of redemption thrown our way. Because if we can actually defeat the person that, well, frankly, outsmarted us, and that's saying something, considering it's Bannerlord AI, you know. But yeah, she did outsmart us in a previous episode, and it would be pretty nice if we could show her just how powerful we are. Obviously the enemy is coming in here. Oh yeah, okay, we just killed some of our own forces. That is to be expected, of course. I should really tell my companions to follow me again. That worked very, very effectively last time. But I'm kind of thinking that I would like to do this myself because they're in a circle formation right here. I'd like to go for a Withering Wave straight away as well. Did I just run into my own spell? Yes, I did. Withering Wave? Oh, it did absolutely nothing. Of course. Of course. Oh well, never mind. Okay, I'm going to go for another Wind of Death. Oh well, never mind. My cavalry's actually just coming in. Well, I took a massive amount of damage, as you can see right there. There's no way I would have survived that. no matter what, if I was full HP or not. I had 159 damage dealt to me in, well, in the space of, what, 2-3 seconds? I mean, obviously, I actually took more damage than 159. I took 107 initially, and then 159 after that. So, yeah, pretty much unavoidable unless I was very far away or something like that, but it's all good. It's all good. We're fine. Because you could see here, most of the people that actually took damage were summoned units, and that's exactly what they're for, right? That is exactly what they're for. Anyway, we're going to be taking her prisoner, and we'll take a couple of people as well, and we're actually going to keep them in our army for the moment until I have the ability to maybe swap them out or something like that. But as it stands right now, I think I'll probably just keep them around. And we now have a full army once again, which is actually really nice. But we haven't really been able to make any... Oh, hello there. That was a little bit close. Oh, no, he's running away from me, nevertheless. This guy does seem to be... for some reason, he's a bit scared of us. I'm not entirely sure why that is. I only have 23% HP, but I should be able to heal myself with Petty Heal at the very start. I always found that to be a very fun thing to do when you have access to healing. Because look at that. You can enter the battle on, frankly, well, very little HP, and then boom, you're all the way back up to almost full, which is actually super nice. Anyway, let me see if I can get my wonderful Wind of Death ready. Let me see if I can actually get into a nice position as well, because... let's actually get my... Let's get my... my companions to follow me. And let's see if we can actually do something together here. Gonna get out my shield as well. I actually wonder whether they're gonna be able to cast some spells here as well. Is it just me, or are they extremely slow on their mounts? Because for me, it looks... Are they matching the speed of the infantry next to them? Because it seems like we have a couple of infantry with us for some reason. I'm not entirely sure why that is, but... Oh well, never mind. Okay, let's cast this. Well, that worked quite well. Nice. Okay, and now let's just eliminate the rest of these. Okay, now only the archers are remaining, basically. There's only the archers, so shouldn't have too many difficulties for us, hopefully. And we're just going to summon a couple of skeletons. I don't really want to use Magic Bolt, because I did have the game crash that one time. I don't think it was due to me actually casting Magic Bolt, but you never know. So I'm kind of being a little bit careful about that. And otherwise, let's bonk him. Yeah, there we go. Okay, a little bit of damage. Oh, actually, a lot more than a little bit. Yeah, that's exactly the reason why I absolutely love the fact that the modding team has added in these hybrid weapons. These weapons that are capable of doing magic as well as physical damage. Because, and this is one of those things where maybe there's a bit of a disparity in, the opinion of the community surrounding Bannerlord. But for me personally, I really, really do not like when there is an opponent that has a significant amount of protection, so much protection from their armor, that they are almost impossible to eliminate with regular weapons. And I'm talking about, pure physical weapons. And obviously, if you're playing as a caster, you have the inherent disadvantage of not having a very good damaging melee attack, pretty much. Your strength, or well, not your strength in this case, but your vigor and your one-handed weapon proficiency in my case is gonna be very low, and as a result it's not gonna be that easy for you to deal damage to these heavier targets. Obviously then you're probably gonna say something like, well, that's because you need to rely on your units to be able to do that, or you need to rely on someone else to be able to pick up the slack in those cases. But some of the time you can't really do that. For example, if you go into a tournament, if you go into a tournament, good luck. You know, good luck as a caster. Good luck, you know, because you can't cast spells. You are probably going to be given something that is very much out of your comfort zone. So you're going to get something like, I don't know, a two-handed sword or something like that. And then you're going to have to go up against a guy that has very good two-handed skill, and he has very good armor as well. So it's it's a bit of a difficult situation to find yourself in. So that's the reason why I really enjoy the fact that they have provided these hybrid weapons. Obviously, you can't use the hybrid weapons in tournaments, but that was just an example to demonstrate the lack of proficiencies can make a big difference, because I've had a number of situations with my character right here in this series, at least early on, where I didn't have the Necromancer staff yet, and I was running around and I was using a relatively decent relatively decent weapon, and I was able to do very little damage to basically any unit, because they just had so much protection. And obviously, you know, they're very high tier, so of course they are gonna, you know, they're gonna take less damage. But, you know, the point is that I really very much appreciate the hybrid weapons. They do so much, and they're so much fun to use, especially for a caster. It's really, really fun. Anyway, let's take a look here. Oh, my parties are very depleted right now. Let's actually get this guy back up and running. Gonna go and see if I can speak to him straight away, because I do have a number of spare forces. And it seems like this episode was basically just about eliminating vassals. And I mean, you know, sometimes you're just gonna have to do these kinds of things. Otherwise, you're not gonna be able to advance, pretty much. And that's what I was talking about earlier, where I was saying, yeah, you know, sometimes you need to exert control over a particular area. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to make any progression at all. And yeah, unfortunately, we haven't been able to in this episode. But hopefully, in the next one, we're going to be able to launch a siege against this town specifically. I'd love to be able to take this town, but maybe it would be a good idea for us to make peace with one of these factions first. Our war exhaustion is actually getting a little bit too high, so I'm thinking we'll probably make peace with one of them, possibly, and then we'll see what happens after that. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.